Hello family, namaste. Sonia here again, bringing you a little more soul sense to expand your consciousness and your life. How's everybody doing? Blessed and amazing, I hope, as always. How are you guys doing? I'm very, very excited because I've decided to make a 3-part series about conversations with me, my inner self, the inner dialogue, and soul sense. And the reason I've decided to do this is because I want you guys to understand how I got to that place of embodying and being and creating and sharing personal development of the mind, body, and spirit. I want you guys to really understand my journey so you can understand how to get there yourselves and being the higher self aspect of you. And this is what I mean by that. I want to take it back. I want to take this back. Ever since I was a little girl, I always felt really, really guided. You know, I always knew there was angels by my side. I was raised Catholic and Buddhist. I'm adopted and I have had both cultures very prominent in my life. And both teachers, Jesus and Buddha, many, many more now, that had guided me through my life and still continuously do. Even with that, as a young woman, I still felt very, very lost. I knew there was something else out there, but I wasn't sure what it was. Through the typical experiences of life, of our programming, from the moment that we're born, we're taught how to eat, how to think, how to dress, you know, what kind of education we're getting, you know, what we should be doing with our lives, what we should become, and so on. And that pressure goes on, and it goes on and on and on and on for a lifetime. And through that, we start developing separateness of the ones that really know us the best. The one being that knows us the best is self. And we lose that as we get older because we're taught that self, our feelings, our inner guidance is not right. See, when we're little kids and people ask us, so what do you want to be when you grow up? You know, we give some answer. I want to be a ballerina, and I want to do this, and I want to play the drums, and I want to, you know, I want to be someone who seeks out the stars. But see, the ones that are answering or asking those questions and waiting for the answers are people who haven't reached for the stars themselves. At least most that I have met in my journey. So through my journey, I was taught to reach for the stars, which means so much, was not going to happen. And it wasn't enough. We need something tangible, whatever that meant. People give you ideas on what you should be and what you should do and what you should accomplish. And in that, it creates more separateness from that inner self, that inner me, that dialogue that we hear, that we feel, that intuition, that guidance of where we should be going, what should we be doing, what should we be creating. And we get separated from that as we get older and older and older. As I got older, I lost more of myself. a lot of myself. And as I go back now, I realized I used to love so much. I hung on to parts of that. When I was a little girl, I used to love to dance and sing, and I loved the music so much, and I still do. It's very dear to my soul. And it's how I express myself in a way. I wanted music so bad in some way that all through my 20s, those of you who know me, I had an independent record label, and I tried to express myself through music. But my soul still wasn't speaking. I was behind the scenes. I wasn't the one on stage. A different version of me was. Understand? So as I got older, and through that process, through my young 20s, people were telling me I should do this and I should do that and I should try to do this and do that. See, I struggled a lot through my life. I struggled a lot because I didn't know really who I was. I know what I liked, but the things that I really liked and I had passion for, I was told I couldn't make a career out of that. I couldn't really be me. And I knew that I wanted to be a part of the world in some way. I knew I wanted to help. I wanted to give. I wanted to give back to humanity. And one thing I know is that we have to trust that process. As I got older, I learned more about myself. I understand that there was a yearning in me that wanted more, and I wanted to understand why life was the way it was. So when I turned 29, I shifted my life. I went through a lot. Loss, pain, abuse, sexual abuse, doing drugs, alcohol, having deaths in my family. So much, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I write about that in my book. I'm working on my second book right now. I'm praying soon that first one will be published. I went through so much in my life that I created just separateness, and I didn't like who I was. I became someone who wasn't really me. It's different to look in the mirror and say, you know, I really like you. It's okay. What I see is all right. I didn't like who I was. I didn't see my beauty within or without for a long, long time. And I self-sabotaged, and I self-abused. And I tried to numb that pain because I felt two energies pulling towards me, or to me, away from me. Whatever, I felt it. I felt that inner dialogue, and I heard it. Well, you should do this, and you didn't do that, and this and that, and this isn't, and you messed up, and this is what happened, and this is where you're going, and now I see what you did, and blah, 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 and this is what you created, and blah, blah. It was a constant inner dialogue that is consistently bringing me to a state of separateness of who I really was. See, we're taught all about the physical. We're not really taught about the non-physical. We hear different versions of us, but see, we don't acknowledge them. We hear the voice in the head, which is ego, the one I just explained, and then we have our intuition. We have that something that peeks out where, you know, we feel like we should make that decision, and then we pull away. We're like, no, that's not the thing that I was taught that is the right thing to do. And again, that creates more separation. In the end, what I have learned, the most important thing is that inner guidance, that intuition is the real you. That is you. That is the inner self, the soul, the spirit, guiding you and showing you the way. If it takes going through hell, separating yourself from your true self, your soul self, then your soul is going to allow you to go through whatever it is. Self-sabotage, self-abuse, inviting the wrong experiences in, the wrong people, feeling like just like crap. Here's an example. And this is from another amazing being. She's very into nutrition. Raw vegan, amazing. Learned a lot from her. Christina, fully raw. Check her out. She was just in Bali, in Indonesia, and she was saying there's like an epidemic of dogs out there and that are not taken care of. And she was telling a story about how she was out in the village and she was out for her morning jog, and she saw a dog get hit by a car. And it was really traumatizing because she filmed most of this experience and shared it. And I'm sharing this with you because it hit home. To learn out how to come into alignment with explaining to you guys more about what life is really about. See, this dog got hit by a car, and after this accident, the dog lost all mobility in its lower half, and this dog was crawling on its front two paws trying to get to safety. No one in this world stopped to help it. No one. Cars drove by, people walked by, and she said she was looking at this dog sobbing, crying, because she's trying to figure out how to help this dog. And she just couldn't understand the lack of empathy and sympathy and wanting to help this poor creature. And at the end of the story, she ended up getting some help for this dog. Unfortunately, after taking the dog to the vet and all that, it just wasn't going to survive. I wanted to bring this story up to you guys because I feel so many of us are this wounded dog, okay? We get hit with so much in our lives. Death, abuse, experiences, lack of taking care of ourselves. We feel like we get hit constantly by things and that it leaves us crippled, and no one around us can give us the answers or help. See, in my journey, I kid you not, I have watched hundreds of thousands of videos to try to find my way back to myself. I've read many books. I've had thousands of conversations trying to find me. See, I felt like I was that wounded dog on the side of the road, and nobody stopped to help me. And I feel like a lot of society is like that. And what I felt in that scenario, her role is soul. See, the only one looking out for you, is your soul self. And that is the part that you need to listen to. Because it doesn't matter how much advice you get from the people around you, you can create a life that you don't even like. And I'm talking about getting married, having kids, and getting into a career that isn't really even you. Not expressing the true you. It's expressing a physical part of you, of what you're told you're supposed to be, but it's not really you. See, this story to me hit home. It is time for us to allow that one being that really wants to help us help, and that is ourselves. See, most of us, we drown out that guidance. We say, we have an issue with God. Why is this world so messed up? Why have I experienced heartbreak? Why have I experienced loss? Why have I experienced abuse? Why have I experienced loss of everything, of myself? See, I have some great news for you guys. if you're lost in any way, that is the best thing and the best place to be. See, when you ask to please God, help me, or universe, help me find me, the first thing that has to happen is that version of you that's been hurt and is disconnected from that one part of you, that one being that wants to help you, needs to be healed. That part of you needs to allow to see your soul. Yes, we have more than one aspect to ourselves. We're not just Sonia. I am also Soulsense. I am also mother. I am also child. I am also provider. I am also teacher. I am also shaman. I am also life coach, motivational speaker. I am also life. I am also embodied goddess walking this planet. See, it took me a long time to figure that out. And I didn't get it. For a long time, I was that dog on the side of the road where nobody wanted to help me. Until I started seeing and allowing soul to speak to me. It didn't matter how many books or videos I watched. I still felt some kind of confusion and separateness. I followed many teachers and gurus and life coaches and motivational speakers, let me tell you. I'm an information junkie. It's nonstop all day for me. Learning my craft, mastering myself, mastering my divinity. See, I didn't get to that point of learning how to master my divinity until I allowed myself to pick up myself off the side of the road and start loving myself and healing myself. Even though the world told me that I was going to be crippled for life. See, a part of me knew better. I knew that I had the power to create something called a miracle within me. That I was able to heal myself. I had something called anxiety, full-blown out panic attacks. You know, I healed myself from that. Now what I have is normal anxiety. See, we manifest things in our life to get us back on the road, back to connecting, to understanding that different aspect of us is our soul. And connecting with my spirit and knowing that there's a lot bigger version of me than just the physicality of me, because this is just flesh and bone. This is the most sophisticated computer the universe has ever created. And your brain is the CPU, the motherboard. And the universe sends us information, downloads. And our thoughts work like a text message or an email. See, I started understanding that my inner dialogue was really spirit speaking to me. My soul speaking to me. Myself speaking to me. And I started to listen. That's when I started feeling held. Really loved, and I started finding forgiveness, because I've seen a crazy world, darkness that maybe some of you guys have never seen. It's cold and it's lonely, but it's also beautiful and heaven on earth, and those are the places that I'm working towards reaching. There's not a day goes by that I don't do something to improve myself. See, I'm on my journey back from being that wounded dog, because I hear soul. I feel soul. I know soul, and I embody soul. I am no longer that broken version of me. I am the goddess walking this planet. I want you guys to know what that feels like, and know it, and live it, and embody it. See, we can stay broken, but then we won't be living our path. We all came here for a reason. We are all divine goddesses and gods walking this planet. Don't you ever question yourself. We are amazing. We are consciousness. We have eyes, nose, ears, mouth, skin, nails, feet, hands. We can create with our minds and our hearts and our souls and our hands and our fingers, even our feet and our bodies. This is a gift. Don't let anyone tell you different. These are beautiful gifts that the soul has given you to manifest and be in here, to be able to exist on this third dimensional plane. See, when you ignore your soul, that's when those other things creep in. Anxiety, depression, addictive personality. You can get addicted to negative thoughts, negative actions, negative feelings, which manifests in numbing self, and many do it through drugs and alcohol, or running away, self-sabotage. I was in that place for a long time, until I started listening to that other aspect of my soul, which was my intuition. And I've learned how to master, how to listen and hear and feel and know that aspect of myself, because there's nothing else I ever want to be. It hurts my soul when I feel so deeply. See, I'm an empath, and I feel other people's pain. That is the main reason why I dedicated my life to becoming a life coach, a healer, a shaman, a crystal energy healer, a teacher, motivational speaker, to be the goddess within and be that on the exterior. I know no matter what you decide to call it, God, universe, self, soul, spirit, there's only one simple thing for it, or name. That's you. Your journey, your path, your evolution, your path, your reason for coming here is to find your way back to that. Once you find your way back to that part of you, it's an amazing life. Now you're walking your godliness. That means you hear, you feel, you know your true path, who you are, and your purpose. No matter what that is. Don't let anyone tell you what you feel and what you know within is not really you, because it is. That is you. It's always guiding you towards who you are and what you're meant to be and who you are meant, or what you are meant to create here on this planet. And that is bliss. That is abundance. That is love. Unconditional love for self. Because if you can't give all these things to yourself, there's no way you're going to be able to share that with the world. This is enlightenment. This is raising your consciousness. This is living your path. When you can find your way to this, now you're adding to that collective consciousness that creates us. And now we're expanding and changing the world. Because when you step into who you are, now you're living your purpose. And now you're adding to the change that we want to see in the world. Be that change. Start with within. That's what it means to evolve. To be here. You came here for a reason, not just to work and pay bills and worry and, get sick and catch disease and die. That's not what we're here for, guys. That's what happens when you don't find yourself, when you don't love and connect to that part of you. See, God is not some separate thing in the sky. It's within. It is within. I pray every day for us. And the only thing I can do is embody who I want to be and who I want to see and what I want to see in the world. I want everybody to be awesomeness. And don't think that if you're in a place where you feel like you can't achieve that, you are in that place. Because if you are acknowledging that there's something that needs to shift within you, you're already on your journey. All I want to do is make it easier for you. Because I've done a lot of work. still have much more to do. Mastering self, mastering your divinity is every single day. Listen, guys, that is today's message. Don't be that wounded dog, and definitely do not be that dog that can't ever walk again or take care of itself and needs to die. Now there's a version of us that we must release. See, some people teach that we must let the ego die out. I believe become it. There's always duality, black and white. That's why I'm wearing black and white today. You find your balance in between, because we're always going to be challenged. That is the way of the world, the way the universe creates to keep us motivated and pushing and moving forward. As they say, without pressure, there are no diamonds. Be that diamond. Shine bright for yourself and for your loved ones and for the world. I am here to make that journey easier for you guys. If you're loving these messages, or even just liking these messages, or just starting to understand these messages, share them. Trust me, there's someone else out there that needs to hear these messages. Someone you know. I love you guys. Always here in service. Remember, I'm just a click away to the next message. I'm going to make 2 more parts to this, getting a little more in depth on how to get to that connected space. May your lovely, lovely journey be an amazing one. Remember, love, live, and be the light. Love you. Namaste. I'll see you guys soon.